Rumors of Shi Qingyan and the actress Yun Yi, pledging their lives to each other, spread throughout the capital. Shi Qingyan, who had always been cool and aloof, surprisingly didn't investigate who started the rumor, until people started mocking Yun Yi for her wishful thinking. Everyone in the capital knew that the eldest young master of the Shia family, and the only daughter of the imperial merchant Shen family, had been engaged since childhood. The two were childhood sweethearts, a perfect match of talent and beauty. With Yun Yi's status, she wasn't even fit to be a concubine. The public gossip grew more and more intense. Shi Qingyan, unable to bear it any longer, had a notice posted. Yun Yi is the sister of his benefactor, and he was entrusted by the benefactor on their deathbed. He will soon marry Yun Yi as a wife of equal standing. Their marriage certificate has long been sent to the authorities, and they are just waiting to pick an auspicious day for the wedding. Everyone came to a sudden realization and praised young Master Shi for his righteousness. He wrote me a letter to explain. Yi is the only person my benefactor couldn't rest easy about before he passed away. I promised him I would take good care of her. I only have feelings for her as a sister, but the rumors have already damaged her reputation. I have no choice but to marry her. When we marry in the future, just think of it as having one more younger sister. In this life, I will only love you. After reading it, I tore up the half-written letter on my desk. I wrote a new, urgent letter and sent it to the boarder. How ridiculous. There are so many men in this world. Where did Shi Qingyan get the confidence to think I would be willing to share a husband with another woman? General Liu, are you willing to marry? The paper was long, but the message was short. I stared for a long while. But in the end, I didn't write anymore. Instead, I ordered the maid to pack my luggage. Thinking back on this period, I finally understood why my uncle and aunt had wanted to say something but stopped themselves so many times. They must have heard the news long ago. N promised back then to come pick me up and take me home after a month or so. Now the peach blossoms in Zhongyan have withered, and the scent of peaches fills the air. Yet there is still no sign of him. I suppose I won't be waiting for him anymore. After all, the eldest son of the Shia family is getting married, so there must be many things to attend to. Half a month after returning to the capital, Shi Qingyan finally came to visit. My parents were away on business and hadn't returned, so I had to receive him myself. He looked me up and down, his brows furrowing slightly. Why did you come back alone? Didn't we agree that I would come to get you? Zhongyan is 1,000 li from the capital. If something had happened to you, a lone woman, on the road, how would I explain it to your father and mother? If this were the past, I would have already pouted and complained to him, accusing him of not keeping his word and demanding he make a pile of promises. But now, I just smiled and didn't say anything. After a pause, he spoke again. The letter, did you receive it? So that was why. I was wondering how he'd suddenly thought of me. I nodded. Don't get the wrong idea. Yun Qing saved my life once. After tragedy befell his family, his younger sister went missing. A few months ago, I finally found his sister. Because I took extra care of her, someone with ill intentions used the situation to slander her reputation. I am the cause of this matter, so it is up to me to resolve it. Our dynasty values I once promised Yun Qing I would take good care of her, and marrying her now is also fulfilling that promise. He looked at me, his face as cold as usual, only his voice was a little softer. Yi has been wandering and has suffered a lot since her family's decline. You grew up in luxury since childhood and have an arrogant and willful personality. After we are married, I hope you can restrain your temper and treat her like a real sister. I suddenly lost the interest to listen anymore, and coldly interrupted Shi Qingyan's words. Did you come just to tell me that in the future, your wife must fawn over Yun Yi? Even though we're said to be equal wives, there still has to be a primary and a secondary. Between her and me, who is the primary, and who is the secondary? He was stunned for a moment. We grew up together since we were little. Because he was a man of few words, I never interrupted him whenever he spoke. This was the first time. Of course, this was also the first time he had explained himself to me for someone else. He has a cold personality, not one for gentleness. In the past, when he made me angry, I'd at most just ignore him for a few days. Then I'd forgive him, never needing him to explain. In just an instant, he went back to his usual cold aloofness. Of course you are the main wife. I have no romantic feelings for her. I am marrying her as an equal wife, only because she said the Yun family has a rule that she will never be a concubine. You know, with her current status, finding a good family to marry her as a wife isn't easy. You've always been generous. Although I didn't discuss this with you beforehand, I know you can understand. Between you and me, it is just like it was before. Indeed, I can understand. But I don't accept it. The words of refusal were already on the tip of my tongue. His servant came frantically to report. Young master, Miss Yun suddenly fainted. Zi Qingyan shot to his feet, not even having time to say goodbye to me. At first, he was walking fast, and then he just broke into a run. Zi Qingyan was raised as an heir since childhood, in a prominent noble household. They emphasize a gentleman's composed and unhurried bearing, which is to say, a gentleman's movements should be dignified and unhurried, never rushed. Zi Qingyan was mature for his age, and had engraved this in his heart since he was a child. Even last year when I injured my leg playing polo, he didn't lose his composure when he came forward to check on my injury. I suddenly understood, loving or not loving. It is not about how many times you say, I love you, but rather, for your sake, being able to break all worldly rules. I don't know if Shi Qingyan loves Yun Yi or not. But what is for sure is, I am not special in his heart. The Shen family and the Shia family have been on good terms for generations, although the Shia family was a prestigious family. Father Shia passed away from illness in his prime. It wasn't until Shi Qingyan won the top spot in 3 successive examinations, and was appointed vice minister that they regained their former glory. During the Shia family's decline, the Shen family and I not only never thought of breaking off the engagement, but also helped and supported the Shia family in every way. Money was the most basic thing. For the sake of Shi Qingyan's studies, my parents not only hired famous teachers for him, but every time they went out for business, they would also take his schoolwork with them and ask local great Confucian scholars for some guidance. You could say that even without this marriage contract, the Shen and Shia families still shared a bond of kindness from the support given. I suppose that after helping for a long time, others just don't take it seriously anymore. Originally, my parents planned to start preparing for our wedding after they returned from this long journey. I thought that after I got married, I wouldn't be as free as I was at home. So I packed my bags and went to my maternal grandparents' home in Jiangnan. After dropping me off, Xie Qingyan looked at me in silence for a long time, not mentioning leaving. I grew up with him since we were little, and I'd say I know him better than I know myself. I smiled and comforted him. I'll only stay in Jiangnan for a month or so. If you miss me, just write me a letter. He let out a light cough and awkwardly looked away. I'll come pick you up in a month at the latest. Don't you dare come back by yourself. I looked at his slightly red earlobes, and perfunctorily said, I know. But in my heart, I was thinking, after we get married, I must change this introverted personality of his. Who would have thought that I only went to Jiangnan for 3 months? When I returned, my fiancé was going to marry someone else, and I and even my family were only informed after the marriage was already set. How ridiculous. Shi Qingyan kept saying he married Yun Yi to put the rumors to rest, and also to fulfill the promise he made to Yun Qing back then, but he didn't know. This wasn't the first time I had seen him since returning to the capital. The day my carriage entered the capital, I happened to see the two of them coming out of a jewelry shop. The usually cold and self-possessed Shi Qingyan actually took the initiative to support the arm of the woman beside him as he crossed the threshold. Others wouldn't think much of it, but I knew. When Shi Qingyan was young, he was wealthy, but his family's fortune later declined, so he had already tasted the bitterness of life at a young age. So when interacting with people, he firmly maintained a sense of distance. He was exceptionally talented, and also cold and proud. Many women in the capital admired him, but he never allowed anyone to step into his domain, even when he had to go to brothels for official entertainment. He would also sit alone, never calling for company. His friends used to joke with him that this was the so-called upholding male virtue. As a joke, when it came to upholding male virtue, I might doubt myself, but I never doubted him. Only because his social distance was never applied to me. He would personally place a spring flower by my temple. He would also share an umbrella with me in the winter snow. He would even directly pick me up and take me to the doctor when I was injured. He said, "You and I will marry in the future. A husband and wife are one body. The way I treat you is naturally different from how I treat others." But from that day on, I knew something had changed. Things between him and me could never go back to how they were. After that day, we never saw each other again. He was busy with official duties, busy getting married. I was busy too. Busy planning for the future, busy cutting off the past. The reply from the border pass arrived. Everything was as I expected. Lu Jung agreed. It was also unexpected, because I received replies for 3 consecutive days. The first day, a short one. Who? The second day, also short. You? Fine. The third day was the real reply. Wait, returning at once. Through the letter, I could feel Lu Jung's urgency. My mood, which had been gloomy for a long time, got better because of these few short words. The maidservant said that the messenger was very surprised. A letter a day from so far away. Their relationship must be so good. I let out a chuckle, and after some thought, I picked up my brush to write a reply. No rush. I'll start preparing for the wedding first. Otherwise, I am afraid a few more letters would come in a row. Everything at the border requires his decision. I figure he probably can't be away for too long. The procedures like the marriage proposal, sending betrothal gifts, and the wedding should be completed within a month if possible. Of course, I have my own selfish reasons too. Right now, I am a laughingstock in the capital. The people who used to envy me now praise me for being righteous and broad-minded, but I can always see the mockery and sneers in their eyes. After all, I am a proper daughter of the first wife, with a bond formed since childhood. Yet it couldn't compare to an actress and a debt of gratitude. There are so many ways to repay a kindness and so many ways to deal with the rumors. But Shi Qingyan just had to choose the most humiliating one for me. He kept saying it was the best way, but he ignored my feelings. Rumors don't just start for no reason. Their behavior crossed the proper boundaries between a man and a woman, but under the banner of quelling the rumors, they bypassed me, his proper fiancé, and signed a marriage contract. I don't know if Shi Qingyan did it intentionally or not. To this day, he has told me about his debt to the Yun family, reiterated his own helplessness, and praised my generosity. But he forgot to ask what I thought. Forgot to say sorry to me and my family. He dares to act like this, merely because he knows I have feelings for him. Because he is relying on the friendship accumulated between our two families over generations. Because he now holds a high position, while I am just from a merchant family. I've said it, I understand him. This is both a fortune and a misfortune, but he doesn't understand me. He only knows that I admire him, but he doesn't know that what I love isn't his looks or his talent, but rather, the him who is untainted and faithful to his partner. A person like that, once they're sullied, I will only decisively discard them. The maid, Yue, rushed in, pulling back my wandering thoughts. Miss, the manager from Jingshu Workshop sent word that someone wants to buy the clothes you had custom made. My clothes? You are asking me this now. Is the Shen family so poor that we have to sell my clothes to get by? No, it is just that this buyer is a bit special. Who? The eldest young master of the Shia family, Shi Qingyan. I raised an eyebrow and ordered. Do my hair and makeup? I'll go negotiate personally. When I arrived, I saw from afar that the shop was packed with people. A soft voice could be faintly heard coming from inside. Brother Qingyan. Although I really like this outfit, the shopkeeper also said that this was custom-made for the eldest Miss Shen. It is really not right to take what someone else loves. If I cause a misunderstanding with my sister over an outfit, that would be even more my fault. Every word was reasonable. Every sentence a concession. It is fine. Mosyu has been generous since she was a child. She won't hold it against you, Shi Qingyan calmly reassured. Besides, since it is on display, that means it is for sale. Since it is a transaction, we pay. They provide the goods. There is no need to feel guilty. Thank you for your guidance, Brother Qingyan. I was just too inexperienced before and thought about it the wrong way. The hesitation and unease in his voice disappeared. Replacing them was adoration, brightness. After I entered the door, what I saw was the pity in Shi Qingyan's eyes that hadn't yet dissipated, as well as the blatant love on Yun Yi's face. I don't believe Shi Qingyan couldn't tell. The old Shi Qingyan was a proper gentleman who kept people 1,000 miles away. Whenever a woman showed any sign of affection for him, he would immediately distance himself. I also laughed at him for being too dramatic. He seriously explained to me that this was the self-awareness of an engaged person. But now, this affection is cloaked in gratitude, under the guise of brotherly and sisterly love. Can't he feel it? Or is he also indulging in it? There were too many onlookers, so my arrival didn't attract any attention. The shopkeeper was already sweating profusely with anxiety and could only continue explaining. Young Master Shia, I am terribly sorry. This is not for sale. It was a new employee who didn't know and hung it out directly. I've already explained to Miss Yun, and to show our apology, our Jingshu workshop is willing to give a 30% discount on the clothes Miss Yun bought today. Since it is your shop's responsibility, there is no need for further explanation. Shi Qingyan, having been immersed in official circles for several years, had long since developed the aura of a superior. Just by lowering his voice a few degrees, he forced the shopkeeper into stunned silence. Yun Yi's gaze paused for a moment in the crowd. Our gazes met across the crowd, and then parted. Then, she said understandingly, "Shopkeeper, this is after all your shop's mistake, and I truly adore this dress. How about this? In 3 days, it is my birthday banquet. As long as you, Jingshu Fang Custom, make an identical one for me, I won't hold your mistake against you. Miss Yun, I am truly sorry, but forget 3 days. It is simply impossible to rush make this dress. As for the design, it was personally drawn by the young miss of the Shen family, and we have no right to decide. Can't buy it. Can't have it made. This young miss of the Shen family is quite domineering. Don't tell me Jingshu Feng belongs to her Shen family." Yun Yi was starting to get impatient. "Miss Yun, please don't be anxious. I've already sent someone to ask Miss Shen if she agrees to sell this dress. I expect we'll have a reply very soon." The shopkeeper was in a dilemma. He could neither tell others that this was indeed the Shen family's business, nor could he make the decision to sell the dress on his own. Miss Yun is right. It is just a single piece of clothing. The Shen family is indeed being too domineering. The onlookers also began to whisper among themselves. But if it were me, and I designed a dress myself, it would be precisely to have something unique. Of course, I wouldn't want others to wear it too. Someone voiced a dissenting opinion. But this isn't just anyone. She is the equal status wife of Miss Shen's fiancé, and also the sister of young Master Shia's benefactor. That is right. Once she marries into the Shia family, the two of them will have to see each other every day. Besides, since you've already given up your husband, why still care about a dress? That is true. I heard this Miss Shen is deeply in love with young Master Shia. The Shen family only has her as their sole daughter, so maybe the Shen family will have to rely on the Shia family for support in the future. The crowd's voices weren't low, and the look Yun Yi shot over again was filled with smugness. But Shi Qingyan, as if he hadn't heard these whispers, was sitting at the head seat, sipping tea with his eyes lowered. I grabbed Yer beside me, who was fuming and about to go out and argue, walked out of the crowd. Since Miss Yun couldn't find a single suitable dress in the whole great capital city, and just had to set her eyes on this not for sale item of mine. A gentleman doesn't take what others cherish, but rather helps them fulfill their wishes. I spoke with a double meaning, smiled as I picked up the dress and placed it in Shi Qingyan's hands. Consider this dress my early wedding gift to you two. After I came in, Shi Qingyan's composure was shattered. When I said, "Young Master Shi," he furrowed his brow even more. "Mew, he speak properly. It is just a piece of clothing. Don't be so sarcastic." "That is right. It is just a piece of clothing. So why does Miss Yun insist on having mine?" Observing Miss Yun's appearance, she has an excess of purity, but lacks dazzling beauty. She is not suited for such a vibrant and luxurious design. Looking at her usual attire, it is also mainly simple and elegant. But she is dead set on having this dress today. Why is that? How about I take a guess? Is it because stolen things are better? Or, forget it, Brother Qingyan. It is really just a birthday banquet. My Yun family has long since declined, and the older brother who doted on me also passed away at a young age. Older sister is right. I should recognize my own situation and choose what is suitable for me. Yun Yi tugged on Shi Qingyan's sleeve. Her dejected words were a concession, and also a reminder. As expected of a renowned actress, every lift of her hand and every step she took exuded fragility. When she spoke soft and alluring, she was all the more pitiably lovely. But I am not a man, and I am not into this type. Don't call me older sister. I am the only daughter of the Shen family. I have no younger sisters. Shen Musha. Ji Qingyan's cold voice was like shards of ice. You don't have to target Yi at every turn. Marrying her was my decision. And besides, she will only be a co-wife of equal standing. It won't threaten your position. There were too many onlookers. Shi Qingyan's apologetic feeling faded, and he gradually grew impatient. I've already told my mother that after she and I are married, we will pick an auspicious day to go to your family and formally propose. I've also explained to you that Yi's older brother did me a great favor, and I promised I would take good care of his younger sister. If you are this narrow-minded, haggling over a single piece of clothing, then I can only ask your parents to keep you at home to learn more about wifely virtues. Ji Qingyan stared directly at me, a veiled threat in his eyes. In his eyes, this was just a piece of clothing. So, what if it is something I like? I am not in as desperate need of it as Yun Yi, so naturally, I should give way to her. But I am not some sheltered lady who swallows her pride and grievances. I am Shen Muhu, who could revive a failing shop at the age of 8, and by 15 had secretly built up a business empire, no less than the Shen family's from. The moment my first shop started turning a profit, I took over the Shia family's expenses from my father. It is just that father advocates the doctrine of the mean. The Shen family is already an imperial merchant. We don't need the title of the richest. For so many years. Besides my family, no one knows the extent of my wealth. No, that is not right. There is one exception. But it won't be long before he is also family. So, not being able to marry into the Shia family is absolutely not a threat to me. I held the dress up in front of Shi Qingyan's eyes. This thing, I can give, but you can't snatch it. Look familiar. This is the birthday gift you gave me. You once said this dress, from the style to the embroidery, was all custom made by you for me, one of a kind. Why doesn't the shopkeeper have the design draft? Because, to prevent the shop from making copies, you took the original back a long time ago. I originally planned to wear it for you on your birthday. What a pity. You've seen it today. Although the person wearing it has changed, I imagine you are satisfied with it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have forced the shop to sell it, knowing full well it was my custom order. Upon hearing this, the crowd of onlookers erupted in boos. They originally thought it was a fight over a lover, but it turned out to be a case of forgetting the old love for a new one. The reason I am willing to give it to you is that what I cared about was never the dress, but your feelings. But now, the person whose heart and eyes were once filled with it now turns a blind eye to it, so it has lost its original meaning to me as well. Let's just consider this an early return to its rightful owner today. After saying that, I ignored Shi Qingyan and left with Yuer. Before we left, Yuer couldn't stand it and muttered something. What bullshit benefactor's sister? Even his own fiancé from a childhood engagement has to suffer along with them. She said it was a mutter, but everyone who was supposed to hear it did. Mew he. Shi Qingyan took a few steps forward to grab me, but I dodged him. No, his anger was gone, and only guilt remained. Before he could speak, a cry of, "Ah," came from behind. He turned his head to see Yun Yi squatting on the ground, clutching her ankle. Her eyes were red, and glistening teardrops hung on her eyelashes. Yet, she still pretended to be strong and said, "Sister, no, Miss Shen. I am sorry. I didn't know you would be this angry. Brother Qingyan, I genuinely like this dress. I didn't think too much about it." As she spoke, she rubbed her ankle, which was already red and swollen. I have never seen Shi Qingyan so flustered. He scooped up Yun Yi in his arms, only throwing one sentence at me. "Mu-hee, I'll take Yi to see a doctor first. I'll come find you later." Hearing this, Yun Yi, who was lying on his shoulder, gave me a slight smile, her eyes full of provocation. I watched Shi Qingyan's figure walk away into the distance, slowly walking out of my sight, slowly walking out of the rest of my life. After that day, I went out even less. Before, I was preparing to marry Shi Qingyan, so all the wedding matters had already been arranged at home. However, now that I have a different husband-to-be, the gifts originally prepared for meeting the in-laws are no longer appropriate. Especially the shoes and clothes made for my future husband. It is still unknown exactly how much leave Lu Jung can get. My parents won't be home for a few more days, so I have to do my best to handle the necessary wedding preparations. Yuer said Shi Qingyan wanted to see me. I was busy sewing new clothes for Lu Jung. I didn't want to see him, but on second thought, some things still needed to be made clear, so I had him shown in. When I returned that day, I had someone return all the gifts he had previously given me. And I sent a message that all ties between us were severed, and from now on, we would go our separate ways, his marriage and mine having nothing to do with each other. At first, he wrote me letters, but I tore them up right in front of the messenger boy. After a few times, I guess he got annoyed too. He never sent any more. Although I haven't gone out these past few days, Yuer has found out everything about what they've been up to. Ji Qingyan, who has never liked socializing, has taken Yun Yi to banquets multiple times, just so she could make more friends. He even went to great lengths to throw her a grand birthday banquet, to make up for the regrets of her past years. Knowing she had no close relatives left, he asked Mother Shia to personally prepare her dowry, just so she could have a respectable marriage. On normal days while I was busy preparing things, I would listen along, just treating it as some fun. Only when I heard about preparing the dowry did I remind them. "Have you informed all the merchants associated with the Shen family? From now on, no credit for the Shia family's purchases. Ever since Father Shia passed away, when the Shia family made purchases, they said it was on credit, but the Shen family never asked them for the money. Back then, it was out of consideration that they would eventually be one family, a gesture of goodwill and support. But it seems Mrs. Shia didn't see it that way. Otherwise, she wouldn't have accepted Yun Yi so easily. Then there is no point in trying so hard to please them. Don't worry, miss. After hearing about the dress incident last time, all the shopkeepers are holding a grudge. Not only are they not allowing credit, they're also frequently out of stock." Hearing this, I laughed out loud. That is not necessary. After all, we're open for business. If there is money to be made, why not make it? Understood. I'll pass your words to the shopkeepers later, and tell them they must bring out their best skills, and aim to empty the Xie family's pockets. I nodded. Now, that is more like it. My problem is with the Xie family, not with money. When Shi Qingyan came in, I was just putting the finishing touches on the embroidery on some clothes. He saw the new clothes in my hands, which were clearly for a young man, and his expression was uncharacteristically gentle. "It is almost done." I didn't respond, just kept myself busy. I came to return that dress from the other day. Yi has been blaming herself endlessly since she went back, and after much thought, decided it was best to return it to you. No need. I won't take back something I've already given away. Shen Muhu, you are not a child anymore. You can't be so willful. Perhaps because he felt guilty, Xie Qingyan didn't get angry, but instead coaxed in a low voice. Also, Yi said she personally wrote you an invitation the day before her birthday. Why didn't you come? I looked up, a confused look in my eyes. Why would I go? I don't even know her. Ji Qingyan looked weary, as if I were a clueless child. You will both be my wives in the future. Even if I see her as a sister in my heart, others don't know that. As my principal wife, you are in charge of the household. Everyone will be watching to see whether your relationship with her is good or bad. Her older brother did me a great favor, and after her family fell into decline, she has suffered a great deal. You've lived in luxury since you were young, utterly spoiled and never wronged now. Just yield to her a little. Treat it as if you just have another little sister. I found it laughable, stopped what I was doing, and questioned him. Never been wronged. Let's not even talk about how your mother always looked down on me in the past, thinking I was marrying above my station. Just take this past month since I returned to the capital, the pointing and whispering from others, your complete indifference towards me. Yun Yi's occasional provocations, both overt and covert. Haven't I been wronged enough? I just don't say anything. But Shi Qingyan, when Yun Yi is wronged, even if she doesn't say it, you can see it and feel for her. But when I am wronged, why can't you see it? Is it just because I love you? Because you are certain I won't marry anyone but you? I wasn't saying this because I was sad. I was simply voicing my dissatisfaction. He came forward and gently took away the clothes I was sewing. Our wedding date hasn't been set yet, so there is no rush with the clothes. I know you love me very deeply. Actually, I've already discussed this with Yi in private. When she finds a man she fancies in the future, I will amicably divorce her. But since I've already promised to marry her now, why must you make things so ugly? Yi has taken a liking to a set of head ornaments, a one-of-a-kind piece from your Shen family's shop. Later before the wedding, you can add it to her dowry in front of everyone, and that will count as your apology to her. It seems Shi Qingyan has clearly misunderstood me. He took my accusation as a confession of love, as a tactic for me to vie for his favor. This time, I was so angry, I actually laughed. There are so many men in the world, where on earth did Shi Qingyan get the confidence to think I'd be willing to share a husband with someone else? Zi Qingyan, has it never occurred to you that I might call off the engagement? Look at how I've been acting recently. What about it makes you think I am still in love with you? Finally, Shi Qingyan's composure was gone. His gaze turned cold, his tone becoming heavy. Shenmu, some jokes are not to be made. Also, when did you become so sharp-tongued? I don't like you this way. I hope you change, I sneered, not caring in the slightest. What you like has nothing to do with me. He stared at me for a long time, finally speaking while suppressing his anger. Today, I'll just assume you are speaking out of anger. If there is a next time before you can even say it, I will personally call off this engagement myself. I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. After saying that, he flicked his sleeves and left full of anger. I don't understand. Shi Qingyan and I were also childhood sweethearts, innocent playmates. But how can he still not understand me like this? I Shen Mushi may be the daughter of a merchant, but my parents are loving, and my family is well off. Since I was little, I've been showered with all kinds of affection. Everything I ate and used was of the finest quality. I don't even want to wear clothes that others have tried on. So, how could I want a man who has had a wife before? According to Yuer, show how much he valued Yun Yi. Shi Qingyan took her back to his hometown to worship their ancestors the very next day. The return date is not yet set. That afternoon, my parents, who had been away on business for a long time, returned home. I told them in detail about the recent events. My parents, who had originally intended to talk us into reconciling, fell into deep thought for a long time. Finally, it was my father who broke the silence. It was your father's fault for misjudging their character. I always believed the Shia family had an upright family tradition. Shia Qingyan is also a child we watched grow up, and his excellence is plain for all to see. Even if Mother Shia thinks highly of herself, with the Shen family's immense fortune as your dowry, there is no way she would give you a hard time. But who would have thought that giving too much would, in turn, make them look down on you? I shook my head. It has nothing to do with any of that. It is just that people's hearts are fickle. Madam, I'll trouble you to sort out the keepsakes and gift list from when the marriage contract was made. In a few days, I will find the clan elders and go with them to cancel the engagement." Mother sighed softly, stroking my hand worriedly. "Have you really thought this through? What Shi Qingyan did was indeed improper, but it has always been common for men to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Not to mention he is doing this under the pretext of repaying a kindness. If you cancel the engagement now, not only will it be difficult for you to marry again, I am afraid people will point fingers and gossip about you. It is all my fault. If I hadn't been reluctant to let you marry into his family at such a young age, and kept you for a few years. Otherwise, if you had married early, maybe none of this would have happened. Now you are like this." Sigh. If Shi Qingyan wanted to take a co-wife, he would have done so whether he married me or not. Mother, you don't need to blame yourself. You should be glad that we've cut our losses in time. I've only lost some feelings. The outcome isn't too bad. I know what my mother is worried about. She and my father were a loving couple, and after I grew up, they often went out to do business together. She was afraid I'd end up with the wrong person, and even more afraid I'd have no one at all. To put them at ease, I told them about the agreement with Lu Zheng. Father was shocked. General Lu Zheng. Rumor has it he dislikes women, which is why he is still single at 25. Old Madame Lu was so desperate. She put out the word that as long as someone can get Lu Zheng to marry, she'd accept them even if they were a woman from a brothel. My mother and I looked at each other and smiled. It seems rumors can't be fully trusted. After all, my proposal went quite smoothly. Mother's earlier worries were swept away, her eyes sparkling brightly. She pulled me, wanting to have a deep heart-to-heart talk. "Good daughter, tell me how you convinced Lu Zheng to marry you. Did you already know he was interested in you, and that is why you chose him?" It is true that I knew he was interested in me. Although we had met very few times, a person's malice can be hidden, but love cannot be concealed. It will overflow from every aspect. But this is not the main reason I chose him. Father, you must have heard. The business I run has been able to expand so quickly, mainly because of military supplies. And this army is Lu Zheng's army. I saved him once when I was young and in business. He admired my courage as a woman merchant, and also valued my honesty. So we secretly came to an agreement. I supply him with military provisions, and he provides my shops with protection from behind the scenes. This is also the reason why my shops can flourish everywhere in the capital. Originally, I was worried that once the engagement was broken, the Shia family would deliberately suppress us, or stop helping us smooth things over with the government. The business would be affected, but marrying into the Lu family not only avoids these troubles, but we might even reach a new level. My father listened to me and pondered for a moment. Then he looked up and asked me, "Everything you've said is for the sake of the Shen family. But my Shen family, having been imperial merchants for so many years, are no pushovers either. Once our 2 families break off the engagement, I can use money to buy another backer. As for their Shia family, can they find another wealthy family as selfless as us? As your parents, what we want to know most right now is what is in your heart." From the moment I learned that Shi Qingyan was going to marry someone else first, until now, I didn't cry when I received the letter. After returning to the capital and being wronged, I didn't cry either. Didn't even cry when being mocked and sneered at. But when my father said that, my tears couldn't be held back anymore, dripping down one by one. Shi Qingyan always told me to be magnanimous, advising me to be tolerant. But he forgot. I was also just an 18-year-old girl. I think Lu Zheng is very good. He is ambitious and aspiring, responsible and dependable. Although we don't have deep feelings for each other right now, I believe that a man with the world in his heart won't treat me too badly. Mother came forward and gently pulled me into her embrace, wiping the tears from my face. The Lu family rules state that men shall not take concubines, and women shall not compare themselves with others. For so many years, this rule has never been broken. This marriage of yours, though decided in a hurry, was the result of a discussion between the 2 of you. Mother believes that your life together in the future will definitely not be bad. Then, let's break off the engagement first, and then wait for that kid Lu Jung to come back before discussing the marriage. Father made the final decision. I didn't pay much attention to the matter of breaking off the engagement, because Lu Jung was back. He changed from his previous quiet, rational, and measured demeanor. He visited our house every day under the pretext of getting to know each other. He would either play chess with my father or drink tea with my mother. But, as it turned out, he was a terrible chess player and knew nothing about the art of tea. Me parents initially wanted to prevent him from getting too close to me, since if rumors spread, it is always the woman who gets hurt. But in the end, they really couldn't stand it anymore, and could only negotiate the engagement annulment as soon as possible. According to Yuer, when the engagement was broken off, Shi Qingyan was not there. Mother Shi, however, was quite straightforward. Mother Shia never liked me to begin with, and now that Shi Qingyan's official career is bright, he is even more praised by the world for the matter of the co-wife. Nowadays, who doesn't know that the eldest young master of the Shia family is a gentleman who keeps his promises, sentimental and righteous. My family being willing to break off the engagement is something she couldn't have wished for more. All she thinks about is him marrying a legitimate daughter from a prominent and wealthy family later on. Yuer felt indignant for me, cursing the Shia family and Shia Qingyan in new and creative ways every day. As the person involved, I didn't care at all. On the contrary, I thought this was for the best. Failure to act decisively will only lead to trouble. Since the engagement was a grand affair, the breaking of it should be formal as well. Otherwise, that bastard Shi Qingyan would think I still have lingering feelings for him, and find new ways to disgust me every day. The one giving me the biggest headache right now is actually Lu Jung. He really didn't know before that he was this kind of person, glib-tongued and shamelessly persistent. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him secretly drinking my tea again. I helplessly tried to reason with him. "Don't you have your own? I've already drunk from this cup. We're about to get married. Are you still fussing over this kind of thing? Ever heard of husband and wife are one? Since we're one, why distinguish between what is yours and what is mine?" I was dumbfounded. It was the first time I realized idioms could be used like this. Like a deceived woman, I accused him. "You weren't like this before. Before, I thought you liked the type like Shi Qingyan, so I could only hold it in. I was afraid you'd hate me. Then why aren't you holding it in now?" He rubbed his nose. "In the past, we didn't even see each other once a year, so I could put on an act. From now on, we'll be together day and night. How could I hide it? Besides, I am letting you see my true personality early on. So if you regret it, there is still a way out. In the past, you were an engaged woman, so I had to keep my distance. Otherwise, wouldn't I have been ruining your good name? Now that you are my fiancé, if I keep acting so reserved, wouldn't that seem a bit distant?" I looked at his unconfident expression and asked him, "Lu Jung, do you like me?" His eyes suddenly widened, his tone filled with surprise. "Have I not made it obvious enough?" Just as I thought. "But I only have good feelings for you. I can't make you any promises. Maybe my whole life. I will only have these good feelings for you. In that case, would you feel it is not worth it? Number if you can't fall in love with me, it must be my fault. When I loved Shi Qingyan, I loved everything about him. When I love you, Lu Jung, I will love everything about you too. So, you just need to be yourself. Don't worry about how other people are." These words were to comfort him. I knew his worries. It was also me analyzing myself. I trust my own choice. He lowered his gaze, and I raised my eyes. We looked at each other and smiled. In this marriage, we just need to be ourselves. Lu Jung had already discussed it with the Lu family long ago. As soon as the news of my broken engagement got out, that very afternoon, old Madame Lu came with a matchmaker and a grand procession of betrothal gifts to ask for my hand in marriage. Time was tight, and our two families had already met in private. All the formalities were therefore simplified. The Lu family felt guilty, and the Shen family felt heartache. The final result was reflected in the generous betrothal gifts and dowry. With this, as a merchant, I was extremely satisfied. As a result, even looking at Lu Jung, I felt he seemed much taller and more imposing. The follow-up events progressed very smoothly. The wedding was also very lively. On the wedding night, I thought Lu Jung would take the initiative to suggest sleeping on the couch. After all, including our past friendship, we had only been together for a little over a month. But I underestimated the thickness of his skin. He had now completely let himself go. Seeing my gaze sweep over to the couch, he knew what I was thinking. My dear wife, I, your husband, have remained chaste for so many years. Now that we are finally married, I will absolutely not agree to be a couple in name only. Besides, my mother is waiting to hold a grandson. Would you have the heart to disappoint her? Seeing that I was wavering, he pressed on. I have to return to the borderlands soon, and by then, we'll be thousands of miles apart. We should take this time to get pregnant as soon as possible. Otherwise, who knows when we'll see each other next? I thought about it, and it made sense. Lu Jung had been back for over a month, and subtracting the travel time, the time we had to spend together was indeed not much, so I obediently let him onto the bed. I have never regretted any of my decisions. This was the first. Other families' new brides all meet their in-laws and relatives on the second day after the wedding. As for me, I didn't get up at all. I slept straight through to the bridal homecoming visit on the third day. Fortunately, Lu Jung had my back, and my mother-in-law was also kind. Otherwise, who knows what kind of gossip would have spread. So for the whole day at my parents' house, I didn't want to look Lu Jung straight in the eye. He, on the other hand, didn't care, and coaxed my father-in-law and mother-in-law until they were happy. But, when we were about to go home, we happened to run into Shi Qingyan, bringing Yun Yi for a visit. Shi Qingyan strode forward and yanked away the hand Lu Jung was using to support me. General Lu, men and women should keep their distance. I am afraid what you are doing is not appropriate for my fiancé. Lu Jung and I froze on the spot. It seems we didn't see Shi Qingyan when we got married, so I guess he must have just returned. Lu Jung lightly patted the spot that had just been touched. Lord Shi, you are mistaken. Although men and women should keep their distance, it doesn't apply to husband and wife. My newlywed wife and I, at my father-in-law's house, I don't think there is anything inappropriate about it. Wife, who? Lu Jung smiled and looked at me. Shi Qingyan's face instantly turned pale. Maho, he is just kidding, right? Ever since we were little, I knew you would marry me as your wife. I was just away for a period of time. How could you possibly marry someone else? We had an agreement after I marry Yi. I'll come to your house to propose. I've already prepared everything. I'll give you a grand and unforgettable wedding. You even finished sewing the clothes you were going to give me. I looked at Lu Jung's well-fitting outer robe. Young Master Shia, watch your words. That was sewn for my husband, not you. He abruptly looked up, his eyes bloodshot, his voice rising. So, you've been planning to marry someone else for a long time, right? Shen Muhu, how cruel of you. All these years of our relationship, you can just throw it away like that. How ridiculous. I was the only one who took the marriage seriously, and I was foolishly planning our future. Lu Jung couldn't listen anymore and wanted to speak. I stopped him, signaling that I would handle it. Gently rolling up my sleeve, I raised my hand and slapped him. Yun Yi went forward crying to help Shi Qingyan up. I shook my somewhat numb palm. This slap is for you, for wronging me first and humiliating me later. Miss Shen, how could you hit him? Brother Qingyan is always thinking of you. Marrying me was just forced by the circumstances. He had no other choice. It would have been fine if Yun Yi hadn't opened her mouth. But the moment she did, I wanted to retort. Before, when my parents weren't home, even if I was angry, I only dared to show a little of it. Now my parents are behind me, and I have my general husband by my side to protect me. I've been wanting to give that slap for a long time. Miss Yun, not calling me elder sister this time. I heard Miss Yun has a family rule that you cannot be a concubine. But Shi Qingyan once told me you two agreed to get a divorce in the future. I am very curious, Miss Yun. As a chaste maiden, you couldn't find a suitable family to marry into as a wife, forcing Shi Qingyan to make you a wife of equal standing. Do you think that in the future, when you are old and your looks have faded, and you've been married before, You'll be able to find a good family then? Forgive my ignorance, I hope Miss Yun can enlighten me a bit. Lu Jung beside me snorted with laughter. My wife, you have such a way with words. He then looked at Shi Qingyan's red, swollen cheek and gave me a thumbs up. And good skills too. I paid him no mind and walked closer to Shi Qingyan. You kept saying you loved me, that you'd marry me. But ever since your sister Yoon appeared, do you even see me anymore? I Sumaha broke off the engagement honorably and will marry someone else openly. What right does a heartless man like you have to criticize me? Zi Qingyan, if you still have any affection left for me, I only hope that from now on, we'll be strangers when we meet. Simon, see our guests out. Immediately, some servants who had been watching stepped forward, wanting to help them leave. They were forcefully pushed away by Shi Qingyan. I watched his retreating back and reminded him. By the way, if you have any doubts about the engagement being broken, you might as well go home and ask your esteemed mother. His steps faltered for a moment, but he didn't say another word. Our younger selves slowly drifted apart in the torrent of time. Many years later, we would eventually become strangers. After my parents found out about this, they were too angry to let it go. They felt that Mother Shia had deliberately made things difficult for us. Overnight, they had all the shopkeepers sort out the Shia family's accounts from the past few years. And the next day, they took the accountants to collect the debts. We used to always think we should leave some leeway so we could meet again on good terms in the future. Now it seems. It really depends on the person. This sum of money, while it wouldn't bankrupt the Shia family, would certainly cause them serious harm. When father came back, he was in a great mood and specifically called us home. He said he wanted Lu Jung to have a couple of drinks with him. Father said that when he arrived, Shi Qingyan was making a fuss about breaking off his engagement with Yun Yi. But their marriage certificate had already been sent to the authorities for filing. It is not something that can be annulled verbally. Besides, Yun Yi wasn't willing. It seems this wedding won't be happening. And Mother Shia not only didn't try to mediate, but instead took out a pile of portraits of women for Shi Qingyan to pick a new fiancé from. But were the noble ladies in the capital that easy to marry? The four people at the table shared a knowing smile, feeling sorry for my luck. With a mother-in-law like that, the couple would fall out sooner or later. So this is also why I resent Shi Qingyan, and am mad at Shi Qingyan. But I don't blame Yun Yi for snatching my fiancé. I've always believed that a person is not an object. The fact that he could be snatched away only means his heart was already gone. Not long after that, something happened at the border. Lu Jung needed to go back early. He asked me what my plans were and I chose to go with him. When I returned to the capital many years later and passed by the Shia residence, the plaque in front of the gate had long since changed to a different surname. The top scholar who had stunned the capital back then by achieving a triple first had also vanished without a trace. But none of this had anything to do with me anymore.